Robert, let me get started then. First of all, welcome everyone to our May general meeting for CapMac. Do we have anyone who's a visitor?
Hello, I'm a visitor. I was invited by Koki. I'm Julie Grimes.
Well, welcome, Julie. I'm glad you could join us this evening.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else? Okay. Well, normally we would go into a long spiel about what we are, what we do, but we're kind of limited here with using Zoom, so we're going to jump right into things. I'm the president, John Purvis. We usually have slides that show all the board members, but not easy for me to show them this evening. So I don't want to take too much time other than seeing about the guests we might have. I do want to mention one thing. Christian Boyce mentioned to me in an email earlier that he wanted asked me to remind everyone or share with everyone he has 5 videos up on his website now, similar to what he shared with us at the last meeting. So I will, in the post-meeting notes, provide a link to where those are if you are interested in viewing those. And as I remember, those range anywhere from about 30 minutes up to an hour and 15 minutes in length. So we're talking some pretty good videos. And for those of you who are at the last meeting we had in April, you know that Christian had a lot of really interesting things to say. So unless there's other key information that someone would like to bring up.
Let me tell you how I'm going to, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect,
yeah,
Nancy.
Tell you how I'm going to do the door prizes tonight. I'm going to get a list of everybody who is present, who's a member. And I have an app, I'm going to number everybody's name. And then I have an app that will select numbers just, out of the air. And that's going to determine who's going to win the door prizes. There's going to be 5 $25 Amazon.com gift cards. And we now have two year-long licenses for Text Expander and 2 t-shirts, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Unless you think you need more t-shirts, and then we can do more t-shirts.
Well, we love t-shirts, this is Texas.
How many more you got?
Well, that depends on how many Nancy gives away.
Well, that's how it's going to work, and I will email the people who win, and you'll just have to trust me that I'm doing it as honest as I can. And I'm trying to write names down right now, but everybody's not showing up. So I'll work with Robert to make sure we have everybody's name.
Okay, we'll try to keep all of that.
Hey, Nancy. Nancy, you can just do a screen capture and get the pictures and names of most everybody. That helps.
Well, you would think so, but since I can't use my external monitor because of having to use the microphone, I'm only seeing 5 people. Oh. That was my plan. That was my plan.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy, I've got all the names.
Oh, okay. Fantastic.
While around it, Nancy, did my door prize ever show up from March?
It did. I have it in my hot little hands, and next time I see you in person, I'll give it to you.
Okay, don't know when that'll be. Okay.
Okay, or is there anything else that anyone wants to bring up? Or that being the case, let us proceed right on to the main program. You are on.
All right. So thank you for inviting me to come speak, everyone. CapMac, and I say this totally honestly, this is absolutely true. CapMac is the best Mac user group out there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, CapMac is also the place where I learned about Austin water, which is beer. So Austin has a very special place in my heart because there's all of you amazing people. There's Austin water, and it's just a cool place. And so thank you for asking me to come speak. All right. So for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Jeff Gamet. I am the text expander evangelist, and we'll be talking about text expander this evening. And to make sure that I don't run us crazy long on time, I just started a timer so that I can be respectful of everyone's time. Okay, now that we've got that going, for those of you that aren't familiar with Text Expander, it's an application that lets you take all the stuff that you type repetitively, and then you put all of it into Text Expander and assign abbreviations to all of those things. So when you need to type out whatever it is, you just type the abbreviation and it expands automatically, hence Text Expander. So some people say, well, I've already got the keyboard shortcut sort of thing in Mac OS. Why don't I just use that? And I look at that as a really great tool, but it's the same sort of thing that Apple has done before, where they give people a taste of the power of what they can do with tools like this, and then leave the real power to the third-party applications. So you have the shortcuts that you can create in Mac OS, and you have Text Expander. By the same analogy, you have Keychain in Mac OS, and you have 1Password. So when you need to do more than just expand a few words here and there, you use Text Expander. So I'm going to share my screen, and we will take a look at what Text Expander can do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have the Text Expander window here on the left, and I have an email window here on the right. I'm using an email window so that I have a lot of flexibility in what I show, because I can do a lot of different things in an email message. And this way, when you guys start asking me the tough questions, I don't have to say, hold on, let me switch to another app where you can actually see that sort of thing in action. I've got something that will let me show pretty much anything that you can do in Text Expander in one single window. Text Expander works everywhere you type, so you don't need to worry about special plugins or extensions to be able to use it. And if you need to use it cross-platform, that's okay, because it's also available for iPad and iPhone and for Windows. And if you know anyone who uses a Chromebook, we have a Chrome extension, so you can use it on Chrome as well. Which also means that if you're using a Chromium-based browser in Linux, you can use Text Expander on Linux as long as you're using the Chromium browser. That's the one place where it's limited to a single app as opposed to system-wide, and that's just a limitation of where the technology is right now. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what we can do with Text Expander on a very basic level. So I like to show people a phone number, because that's something that we have to type all the time. So to do that, I've created an abbreviation that I call .phone, and when I type that, it expands out a phone number. And what I like to do when I'm making my abbreviations, and this is a tip that has worked really well for me for years. I put punctuation symbols at the beginning of my abbreviations. I know when I'm typing normally, I will almost always have a space after a punctuation symbol. But when I use it as an abbreviation for a snippet that I've created, there won't be a space. Therefore, I've set myself up so that I can use pretty much anything that I can imagine that I would normally type as an abbreviation, and not have to worry about accidentally expanding it when I don't intend to. So that's why I was able to use the word phone as a snippet. It's because I put a period at the front of it, so it became dot phone. And I do the same thing like with URLs. I don't use bookmarks anymore because bookmarks are usable only in the one web browser I'm in. They tend to be kind of clunky because I have to go find them. So I have set up snippets that are the URLs that I need. So I do / / at the beginning of those because you do the / in a URL. Okay, so here we go. I just made this snippet expand, and let me do it again so you can see that. Dot phone. There we go. So let me make a snippet so you can see what I can do, or you can see how it works, and then we'll go from there. And I'm okay with people asking questions along the way if everyone else is. Otherwise, we'll do them just at the end. What's your preference? And then we'll do that.
I would say as we go, what's fresh in people's minds.
Okay. Nancy has spoken.
Maybe you could enlarge the text and might be easier to see from 1,300 miles away.
Oh, let's see if Zoom will let me actually zoom. Is that bigger?
No.
No.
Okay, Zoom is not going to show my zooming. So I won't be able to make it any bigger. I am sorry.
You can't just highlight it and make a different font?
I can, but that won't help in the snippet editor.
Right, I'll just squint. I'll be all right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hold on. Okay, I'm closer to my screen and it got bigger. Did that help? When I put my face closer to the screen?
No.
So yes, I can do some things where it'll be bigger. So we'll see what we can do to make this work. Okay, so text expander application. I've got that on the left, and I have a sidebar on the left side of it, and this is where I'll see all of my snippets. And all of my snippets will go into groups so that I can organize them any way that I want. So for example, I have this group right here that says Jeff's demo snippets, so that I always have a group of snippets ready to go for presentations. I also have some for HTML that are in here. I have this one that has dark mode toggle. If we have time, I'll show you that. And so anyhow, in this group that says demo snippets, you can see that I have a bunch of snippets in here already. And when I select one, I get my snippet editor on the right. And so this is where you can see what the snippet content will be when it expands. This is where you can see the abbreviation that I've created. And this is also where you see the other tools that I can use to make my snippets do even more. Okay, so let's make a snippet. Let's make the phone number. So to do that, I'll click the new snippet button. Now I have a blank empty snippet, and I'll put in that phone number, 303-867-5309. Okay, so now I have something to expand. And now I'll come down to this field at the bottom where it says abbreviation, and I will type in an abbreviation. So the abbreviation I used before was period phone or dot phone. And I actually know it's Jenny's phone number. So let's do it as dot Jenny. There we go. Now, when I come back over to mail, delete everything out, type dot Jenny, there we go. Phone number expands. So what I recommend to people, if you're new to Text Expander and you're just not sure where to start with making snippets, make your phone number, make your email address, and make your mailing address, because those are 3 things you're going to use all the time. And that's a really great place to start. Also, when you're typing things repetitively where you don't realize you're doing it, Text Expander will pop up an alert and say, hey, you've typed this several times. Do you want to turn it into a snippet? So it can help you with that. And then when you've built up your snippet database to the point where you decide, I don't really want that notification anymore, then you can just turn it off in preferences. But leaving it on in the beginning, I think, is great, because it makes you much more aware of the things that you do type repetitively. Okay, so that was just a phone number. We could do something a little more involved, like write someone an email where I have all the elements for an email ready to go, because it's things that I have to type all the time. So like maybe I want to have a nice little salutation. So I have one that's great. And it says, great to meet you. Thanks for getting in touch. Maybe this is someone that just got Text Expander, but they didn't follow the instructions, and so they're not sure how to actually install it. No problem. I have instructions for that ready to go. There we go. So here's how you set up an account, where to download the app, and then just sign in. Okay, so now I've got that done. I need to wrap up. There we go. Let me know if there's anything else I can do. And having a signature on my email sure would be nice. So let's go ahead and add that in. There we go. I have now set up a whole email where I was able to create this entire message by typing just a few snippets. And when I was done, I even had my phone number in here as part of the signature, a hypertext link to the Text Expander website, and a graphic. And it took me a lot longer to tell you what I was doing than it did to actually do it. Okay, so I also can do things that are more complicated, like take a snippet and turn it into something where I can customize things on the fly. So when I'm doing webinars, I have a snippet that I use for that, which it's a great way to show this off. The premise that I use is I've gone to a conference. You remember those things we used to be able to do in the before time, where we would go to another city and meet tons and tons of people? You know, a conference. And at the conference, I meet someone that has another interesting app, and we're both really interested in what each other is doing. So we're going to trade our apps. So when I get back to my hotel room, I need to send an email to the person telling them about Text Expander and thanking them for meeting with me. So I have a snippet for that. And so my abbreviation for that is .fill. And when I do that, I get this new window. And in this window, I have a form that I can fill out that's going to create the whole email when I'm done filling everything out. So I have a place, it says hi, and then a field that I can fill in. So that's where someone's name goes. And we'll say, since I actually have hung out with Nancy at conferences, we'll say I met Nancy at the conference. And then right here it says, I really enjoyed meeting you at the conference. I look forward to receiving a review copy of your product. And what would be a good app for Nancy? How about iBoss? Because she knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it says, I would like to send you a copy of one of our apps. And now I can click on this little pop-up menu, and I can choose Text Expander, PDF Pen, or PDF Pen Pro. On a side note, if you're a PDF Pen user, PDF Pen 12 came out 2 weeks ago now, and it has some really cool new features in it. So if you're a PDF Pen user and you haven't checked out PDF Pen 12 yet, go check it out, because it's pretty cool with what we've done with that. Okay, so we're talking about text expander tonight. So I'll choose text expander from the menu. And right here I have these descriptions of PDF pen and text expander. I'll uncheck the one that I don't want to include, which is PDF pen. I don't need a description of that when I'm just talking about text expander. And then that turned red. I know it's not going to show up in my snippet when it expands. This other one's green. It will show up. I'll click OK. And there we go. I just created a whole email where it says, "Hi, Nancy. I really enjoyed meeting you at the conference. Look forward to receiving a review copy of your product, iBoss. And I'd like to send you a copy of Text Expander. It has a description of Text Expander. And then it has a signature at the end." So there we go. We have.
But your name isn't Lisa.
You know, you're right. Let me fix this. All right. I'm just going to start by copying everything. And the great thing is we already have a signature that says Jeff. So we're going to end up using that instead. All right. So let's come back over to Text Expander and we'll make a new snippet. I'll just paste everything in. And we can rebuild that snippet real quick. So where it says, "Hi, Nancy," I know that's where I need someone's name. So let me just delete that out and go to the fill-ins menu and choose single line field. And now I have a place where I can put something in. So I'm just going to call this one name because I know I want to put the person's name there. I'm going to click OK. And now I have this nice little visual cue, this little lozenge here that tells me when the snippet expands, it's going to have some sort of interaction for me. And if you're having trouble reading the text, then you're also going to have trouble reading what's inside that little lozenge. But there's a little icon in there where it's a square with a cursor in it to let you have a little visual cue that this is going to be a field that you fill in. All right, so we also need to have that field for the product name. So we found that. Let me just delete that product name out. Fill-ins, single line field, product. There we go. So now I have a place to type in someone's name. I have a place to type in a product name. Right here, I know that's where I want to choose from the different apps that we have. So let me highlight where it says Text Expander. I'll delete that. We'll go back to fill-ins, and I'm going to choose Pop-Up Menu. And we'll just call this one App. And now let's type in Text Expander and PDF pen. And I need a third field. So I'll just click this plus right here, PDF Pen Pro, click OK. And now I have that pop-up menu with all of that stuff in there. And now here's where I choose where it says Text Expander description or the PDF Pen description. All right, let me just go ahead and copy that text. Since I went to choose what I'm going to have included, this will become optional text. So I'll go back to fill-ins and I'll choose optional section. And this one I'm going to call TE for Text Expander. What I do with the names for the optional text is I put in just some real short descriptor that tells me what the text is going to be. Like if I have a paragraph or more, I don't want to have to scan through all of that text. I just want to look and have a little label right at the beginning that reminds me of what's in this field. So TE for Text Expander. All right, I'm going to put a couple returns in here so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Pro tip, don't put returns where you don't want them because Text Expander will include those returns when the snippet expands. The only reason I'm doing this right now is just to make it easier for everyone to see what I'm doing. So this snippet is going to have some extra returns in it, and we all know that's not what I really want, but it's just making it easier for everyone to see. Okay, so now I need to have a PDF pen description. So I'll put the cursor where I want that to go. I'll go back to fill-ins and I will choose optional section again, PP for PDF pen. And I'll put those returns in so it's easier to see. And I didn't copy anything, so I'll have to actually write something. PDF pen is the coolest and best PDF viewing and editing app for the Mac, iPad, and iPhone. There we go. All right, so here's another little thing we can do. Since I know it's going to be text expander that I choose like 99% of the time, let's go back to this app pop-up that we made and see these little radio buttons. Now let's just set a default. I'm going to make the default choice text expander. I also have handles, so I can move these around so they're in any whatever order I want. And the default can be anything in the list. So I can have the thing at the bottom of the list as the default. Here's another thing I can do, since I know that's going to be my choice most of the time. See this optional section, it has two lozenges. One that tells me where the beginning of that text is and one that tells me where the end of the text is. So if I click on the beginning, it brings up that little window where I could give it a label. I'm going to uncheck include by default. So here's what I did. I just took this snippet and set it up so that my default choices are text expander. And the only time I have to choose something different is if I want to do PDF pen. So let me give this an abbreviation so you can see what I mean when we expand it. And then we're going to fix that signature. And Nancy, on a side note, this is a really great way to set up a template article. Like if you know that you're covering Apple product launches all the time, you can set up a template article where you have all the basic info for every single product in here. And the only stuff you have to change would be the release date and the specs for whatever that specific product is. Wow. And so now you can take the process of spending an hour writing an article and turn it into 10 minutes. Which tells me I need to show you how to do some stuff with dates before we're done tonight too. Okay, so let's give this an abbreviation and ... fill, because I'm not using that anywhere else. Right, okay. So let's take a look and see what happens with this snippet now, ... fill. Okay, whoops. There we go, got a hold of it. So see what I mean? Text expander is already selected in that pop-up. And PDF pen is already read for me, so it won't be included. So now when I type in Nancy's name, I can also tab to the next field. There's iBoss, that's her product. Okay. So I took out clicking on the pop-up menu and having to uncheck PDF pen, and I was able to get that whole email created super fast.
But it still says Lisa.
Yes, now we're going to fix that. So let's come back over to this snippet here. Here's Lisa. I'm not Lisa. Let's get rid of that.
There's a song called "I'm Not Lisa," by the way.
And apparently tonight it should be my theme song. Okay, here's that snippet with my signature. I just want to use that. I don't want to have to recreate this. So what I'm going to do is nest this snippet inside the email. So I need to know that abbreviation for this signature, and it's semicolon sig. So let's go back to that snippet we've just made. Put the cursor where we want that signature to show up. And now I'm going to go to the keyboard menu instead of the fill-ins menu. And I'm going to choose insert snippet. Semicolon sig, type in that abbreviation. There we go. All right, now when I come over here and I type my abbreviation, it's not going to work right. And I'll show you why. So I'll type in Nancy's name, type in the product name, we'll click OK. And I don't have that graphic and I don't have that web link in there. And here's why. It's because the signature has a graphic in it and a hypertext link. These are features that require that I change the content type of the snippet. So the snippet that we're working with, I'm now going to call this my parent snippet. It has a content type of plain text. And what that means is that whatever is in this snippet body, it's going to inherit the formatting options in the application where I expand it. Now, for a lot of what you do, that's probably exactly what you want. So you don't have to worry about, did my font change from Helvetica to Arial or something like that. But when you're working with graphics, you need to have formatted text and pictures. And the key there is the pictures part. So we'll change this to formatted text and pictures. Now, the side effect is, in addition to being able to have hypertext links and have graphics, and I can now change fonts, so I can change colors. I have more options for formatting text, like I can actually bold and italic, and I also now have a snippet where its formatting will override whatever application I'm expanding in. So you just need to keep that in mind. If you're doing a lot of intricate stuff with formatting in your document and you use a formatted text and pictures content type snippet, it's going to override the formatting you've set up for the snippet. So if something doesn't look the way you expected, now you know why. All right, but in this case, because we want to use a graphic and have a hypertext link, we had to change our parent snippet to match the content type of the snippet that we put into it, the nested snippet. So since the signature has a graphic and a hypertext link in it, it had to be formatted text and pictures. For this snippet to expand correctly in my parent snippet here, I had to change the parent snippet to formatted text and pictures as well. Okay, now our snippet's going to work. Did
that happen automatically when you changed it? I mean, you highlighted it and then you changed it to formatted, and it didn't change anything that you'd already done. It just changed the format. Is that right?
That is correct. So it did not alter anything that I had already put in the snippet. It just enabled the ability to include graphics and apply other formatting if I want. So now, when I typed in Nancy's name and then tabbed to the product field, and then I just hit return, there we go. Now this looks better because not only does it have Nancy and her product and text expander and a text expander description, but it has that formatted signature that says me instead of Lisa. There we go. All right. So we are still doing good on time. Would you like me to show you how to set up a snippet that includes things like graphics and hypertext links? Because we can do that real fast. Okay. Let's just rebuild this. So I'll start by copying it. Let's come back over to text expander, new snippet. We'll paste everything in. Okay, you can already see there's a problem because the graphic's not there. But we should have expected that because the content type is plain text. So it's not going to show a graphic. And if I, there we go. Actually, I have the graphic I need. If I take that graphic and try and drag it in, nothing happens. So let's go ahead and fix that right now. Content type, formatted text and pictures. Now I can take that graphic and drop it in. So stick with JPEG and PNG, and that's just, it'll just be easier for you. All right, so we have that hypertext link that we want. Here's the trick. Type what you want so it's there. highlight it so you know that you're getting that hypertext link on the text you want where you want it. I mean, you could do this just by putting the cursor where you want the hypertext link to go, and then just creating everything in the rest of the interface. But this way you know that you have the text where you expect it to be, and just the part that you want to be a hypertext link is going to be that. Okay, so I've typed in my text, I highlighted it. Because I changed to formatted text and pictures, and I got my text formatting options, I also get this link button right here. When I click that, because I had already highlighted the text that I want to have a hypertext link, it's already filled in for me right here. So I didn't have to type anything extra. All right, URL, let's go ahead and put a URL in, https textexpander.com. And click OK, and now I have a hypertext link. And as long as we're doing this, since I already showed you how to nest a snippet, let's nest a snippet here too, just so you can see that again. All right, so let me get rid of the phone number. We already know that I have a phone number as a snippet. So we also know that it's semicolon Jenny for the abbreviation. So I've got that cursor where I want that phone number to be. Go back to my keyboard menu, choose Insert Snippet, semicolon Jenny, because that's the snippet abbreviation. And we've set that up. And then we just need to give this an abbreviation, semicolon sig, something like that. And now when I come over here, that should work. Sure enough, whoops. Okay. Oh, the abbreviation was .Jenny, not semicolon Jenny. We can fix that. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. That looks like what I was expecting. Okay, nesting something like this where I did the phone number, or like in that whole email that we created as a form with a signature. Nesting like that is cool because it means you can use the same content over and over without having to recreate it in other snippets. And if something changes in that original snippet, you don't have to worry about going and changing it everywhere else, because once you fix that original snippet, every place where it's nested, it's already updated and correct. So the example the real world example for me is someone at Text Expander is updating a snippet that our whole team is using, because there's also a Teams version, so entire companies can use it. Someone's updating this snippet that has promotional information in it. And so I use that at the end of my normal email signature. When that gets updated, every time I use my signature, it's updated there too. So I never know when it's going to change or what it's going to be, and I don't care, because it's always the most current information because someone else is updating it, and I've nested that promotional thing into my email signature. Okay, so let's see. We have looked at forms. We've looked at making a very basic snippet. We have looked at graphics and hypertext links. We have nested snippets. And Nancy, I have not shown you dates yet, which is something that I bet not only you, but a lot of other people can use. Okay, so let's say I want to set up a meeting with someone. And let's see. So here we go. Let's start by putting today's date in here, just so that when the email goes out, we don't have to worry about, did they look at the header? Did they see when the email came in? It'll just have today's date. So let's go to the calendar menu and let's choose the month. I'll put a space in there because snippets are very literal. If I don't have a space after the month, whatever comes next will be jammed right up against it. And we'll put the day and then a comma and a space. and go back to that calendar menu again and put in the year. And now I will have today's date automatically appear whenever I use a snippet. And I even have a little preview button down here at the bottom. When I click that, it'll give me a quick version of my snippet. So I can see, yep, today's May 5th, 2020. That looks correct. And now let's go ahead and add in something like we want to have a meeting next week. Let's set up a meeting for next. And
why did you choose month for day?
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
Why did you choose month for day?
Because I screwed up.
Okay.
Thank you for catching that. Day. Now it'll work right.
Okay.
All right. So let's set up a meeting for next, and we want the name of the day of the week. So go to the calendar, and I'll choose day where it shows the full day name. Okay. So the way this is set up right now, let's preview it. And look, the date's right. It's not the 5th, it's the 12th. This is what happens when you have to live inside for a couple months. Even when you see the date and it's wrong, you don't know. All right, so here we go. Let's set up a meeting for next Tuesday. Today's really Tuesday, right? So what I've done is I've set this up so that it will be this day next week. But what if I know that I always want it to be a day or two after that? We can do that too. I'll just put the cursor right in front of where I have the day, and we're going to do some date math. So let's go to the calculator menu and choose add days. So let's put 2 in there. So that will add 2 days to whatever today is. Click OK. And now when I preview that, you can see next Thursday. So this is super handy if you need to set up meetings where you know it's always going to be at a certain point in the future, where it's always X number of days away, or if you're setting up, excuse me, say contracts where you need to have something returned to you by a specific date, then you can use date math to have it figure that out for you, and you never have to worry about, did I get that right? Because it's just doing the math. All right, so to see that actually really in action, let's go back over here, fill, and let's bring this up so it's middle of the screen. Hi, Nancy. Let's talk about your product, iBoss, and we'll just say return. And here we go. It added in today's date, and there we go. Let's set up a meeting for next Thursday.
That's cool.
Okay, so we are getting close to 40 minutes, and what I'm thinking is show a couple more things and then go into like free-for-all questions. And how does that sound?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Okay, so here we go. We have done some date stuff, and let me show you how I do URLs. So let me grab a browser window, and let's just make a new tab. Okay. So when I want to go to a specific part of the text expander website, I type //tt. And I get this. So now if I just hit return, I'm going to go to textexpander.com. Or if I want to go to the blog or to our support page or our webinar page, I can just select that, hit return, and it fills in the URL for me and then takes me right to the page.
Oh, that's good.
So let me show you how to set up something like that. I pulled the browser window out of the way because can't see text expander if it's in the way. Okay, let's make our bookmark. Okay, so let's make one. So for CapMac, are there pages that we can go to on CapMac? CapMac.com.
Org, isn't it?
Org.
Oh, I'm sorry, org. CapMac.org. There we go. Okay, so that's the main page. And we have about, okay, and we have join us, and we have resources. Okay, let's actually do CapMac. And so let's start with the actual URL, which is what? HTTPS capmac.org. All right. And let's give it an abbreviation right now, //capmac. Okay. So that will just take us to CapMac. But what we want is the ability to go to all of the other pages on CapMac directly. So we're going to use a pop-up for that. So we'll say fill-ins, pop-up. Okay, now we have, let's see, let me just hop back up here and take a quick look. There was about, okay, so there's one that is
about,
/about.
There's resources.
And /resource, whoops, resources. And then there was another one that was join dash us, I think. Okay, so there we go. So we have several. But what if you just want to go to CapMac? You don't want to have to choose one of these options. So let me add another one in, and I'm going to leave it blank. And I'm going to set that one as the default. So now the default will be capmac.com/nothing.
Need a dash, I mean a slash in front of join us.
Thank you. Fixed. All right. So now I don't want to have to type return twice. The first time when I finish my selection for the snippet and have it expand, and then the second time in the web browser to actually go to the web page. So what I'm going to do is go back to my keyboard menu and choose return. And that's going to add in a regular return. So this is also a thing you can use. Like if you have a form you fill out all the time where you have to tab between forms, there's that tab in there. You can do the same thing with the tab. Okay, so we have now made this. Let's come down here, get that back. Okay, //capmac. Whoops. There we go. Now I can see it better. All right, so you can see the default will be just capmac.org. Or we can go to our resources. When I hit return, it fills that in and takes me right to the page.
That's cool.
Okay. So how about if we go like really crazy and I show you something really advanced, like let's say there's Nancy. Okay, so let's say that I'm sending an email to Nancy and I don't want to have to type hi Nancy at this point. How about if I use an Apple script to do that for me and put it inside a snippet? X hi. There we go. Hi, Nancy.
That's cool.
All right, so let me show you that. So if we come over here to text expander, this filter field, that's actually a search field. I can search for anything. So I'm going to search for X high. And when I select X high, I can see that I have a snippet that it's actually using something that's nested. And what it's using is XNM. So let's take a look at that snippet. XNM. Here we go. So here's an Apple script that tells the mail app to look at the to field. And if there's something in there, to grab the person's name and then spit it back out wherever my cursor is. And this saves me so much time.
But my email address is in Gravely, so it's not gonna know.
No, what it's doing is it's looking to see if I have the full name of the person to go along with it.
Oh.
And since I do, it says, oh yeah, there's actually a first name associated with this email address. Let's just grab the first name and drop it right here. And I use this snippet pretty much every day. So if I have had an email correspondence with any of you and it starts with hi and it has your name, this is how I did it. And the bonus is I'm not going to misspell your name.
But how do you get these Apple script things? I mean, is that something that's built in, or did you have to set that up at some point?
Well, you do need to know how to create an Apple script or how to copy and paste one from somewhere else. And you have to change the content type so Text Expander knows what to do with it. So in this case, we had to tell it that it's an Apple script. But I have this other little script. Actually, I think this one's an Apple script also. Yeah, it's an Apple script. But I have one that's a JavaScript. Somewhere.
Why don't you show us the other Apple script? I try to avoid Java.
Okay, then let me show you the other Apple script. So here I am.
Dark mode.
Just in the Finder. All right. And if I type this abbreviation, JJ dark, I just switched my computer to dark mode. And I'm not even in a field anywhere. If I type it again, JJ dark, switch back to light mode.
If I can insert, there are a bazillion Apple scripts on the internet that kind people have created and posted so that you can copy and paste 95% of them, but change names or if it's going to say from you, you put your name in. So you don't necessarily have to go into a big learning curve for learning how to do Apple scripts unless you want to.
And actually that one that puts the person's name in, that's in a public group. Public groups are awesome because they're groups of snippets that people have put together so that you didn't have to. So there we go. Let's use my snippet and let's go to support. Okay, so at textexpander.com/support, there's this button right here. It says public groups.
ARG.
And public groups, this is a great place to come and find bunches of snippets that that will help you in your life. To save time, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. To save time, let me do a search. Tidbits. There we go. Tidbits autocorrect. This is when you want to install. This is like the ultimate typo fixer and misspelling fixer. There are hundreds and hundreds of common misspellings in here that will autocorrect for you. So if you're someone that types TEH instead of THE for the all the time, whatever. Keep typing TEH, and this will fix it for you every single time.
Is that an app?
This is a public group. So the way you would add this to Text Expander is textexpander.com/public groups, and find the group you want, and then click subscribe. And then you get an option right here that says subscribe to group. And when you do, you'll get this new group of snippets at the bottom of your groups list. And these are the snippets or snippet groups that you have subscribed to. So they just automatically appear. It's like if I open this one up and start scrolling. Okay, I haven't even gotten to the end of A yet. I mean, it is insane how many words are in this snippet group. And let me zip on down. See, so many I can't even find the beginning of it now.
So, Jeff, these snippets are just going to apply to Text Expander, right?
Yes. So anytime you are, well, any place you're typing, they will just work because
and Text Expander.
No.
No, since Text Expander works anywhere you type, these snippets are available to you. So that means, like, if I come over here and I type TEH, it's just fixed.
Okay. But
so this is like having your own built-in spell checker. That's even better because not only is it saying, hey, the word's wrong, it's just fixing it for you.
Okay, so remember who you're talking to and go back here for me.
So think of it this way.
How do I use it? I mean, how do I put it in place? Is it, I mean, do I have to insert it with everything I do, or do I, how do I make it work?
Okay, here's how you make it work. Step one, you go to textexpander.com/public groups.
Okay.
And let's go way back to the very beginning. Let's say you've made it as far as textexpander.com and you forgot that I said go to /public groups. No problem. Click on support. Click on public groups. Find the public group that you want, and there it is, Tidbits Autocorrect. Click subscribe. Now you get this description of what's in the in that snippet group. Click subscribe to group. That's it. It's now part of Text Expander on your computer as if you had created all of these snippets yourself.
That's cool.
So now when you need to use this, when you type something wrong, like I did with the, it's going to automatically correct itself because the abbreviation THE is in that group, and it just, and the snippet that expands is the.
That's cool.
So Jeff, I have a question. When you go to install things on your computer, how do you know that it's a good thing and not something with some Trojan horse bad thing in it?
You mean like in general or like with these snippet groups?
Snippet groups, because that's what you're talking about.
If you go to this page, we vet every single group that's here.
Okay.
So think of it like the App Store walled garden.
Mm-hmm.
You can submit a snippet group to be a public group, and it will not appear until we have gone through it and decided, yes, this is okay, and yes, it actually has something that's valuable for Text Expander users.
And how much is Text Expander? Obviously, you have to pay for it initially, unless you win the door prize.
Unless you win the door prize. So Text Expander is, hold on, let's just go back to the Text Expander. Oops, textexpander.com. Hold on. There we go. Here we go. So I thought it was right there on that page.
Pricing.
Where was I thought pricing was just, oh, pricing. I was looking at the wrong part of the page. See, this is what happens when you spend so much time doing snippets for URLs, you forget where to look on the page. So for an individual user, which is probably what you'd be looking at, because for a team, that's where you're going to have several users that need to all share a lot of snippets, and you need to have fine granular control over all the snippet groups, who has access to what. That's what teams would be for. So that's typically companies. Life Hacker, so that's going to be $333 a month, and for a couple people, it'll be free for a year. So basically, what for less than a Starbucks a month, you get all of this crazy power.
It's worth every penny. If I work 4 hours a day and I didn't use this, I would be working 5 hours a day, because I've timed it before to see how much I use it, which makes them happy because they don't have to pay me for that extra hour, but it also means I get away from the computer faster.
Also, they send out is it a monthly thing y'all send out that kind of tells you how much time you've saved on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And for some people that are working at Text Expander, like people on our support team, they use so many snippets that they will be saving like 30 hours a month. So that's one person saving almost a full work week of time. And for companies that are using it, if they have, I think it's like 7 people that are using it, that's the equivalent of getting an extra employee worth of man hours every month. And for some companies, they have multiple people that are producing or are so proficient at using Text Expander that they're saving like 30, 40 hours a month.
There's another thing too, because I use Text Expander for long paragraphs. I don't have to go back and proofread them because I know that they're right, and I don't have to look and see if I left out a word or change the entire meaning of what I'm trying to say.
Yes. And with the ability to go in and add in fill-ins and pop-ups and optionals, it makes it really easy to customize content like that. There are attorneys that have taken their briefs that they have to submit to court for different cases, and they've set all of that stuff up in Text Expander. So all they have to do is fill in the names and whatever is pertinent for that specific filing. Like if there's some additional piece of information that they have to include, whatever, then they can do that. And when they click OK, then they have an entire document, an interrogatory or whatever, that is done and it's right, which is great because a lot of attorneys, they'll work with a Word document or some word processor document, and they copy and paste what they need from the last time they used it into the new document. The number of documents that end up in court that have completely wrong information because they didn't catch all the places where they needed to change a name or a date or something like that. It's just crazy. So the amendments that happen in court filings because something was missed in a copy and paste, it's just crazy. But with something like this, not a problem.
In the old days, software programs like Microsoft Word, and I'm sure they still do, they come with templates, and you can call up a template and you can actually save a template and you can put in all the non-variable stuff in that template. But the advantage to this is it'll work with any kind of software. Now, I guess each software program that you use that would have repeated text in it, you could create these reusable text expander things, and it's kind of like a versatile template program in a way. I mean, at least that aspect of it is.
Yes, there are a lot of people, a lot of companies that use text expander exactly as you just described, where it's like a series of templates for them.
Now, the other thing I was going to say is the shorter version of text expander is the keyboard shortcuts that you have on the iPad and the iPhone and on Mac, on the Mac OS. And I got to tell you, I don't know how much time I've saved over the years just by not having to type in my email address. I just have the letters EM set up to give me my email address, and you know, I hate having to type that over and over again. So I did that several years ago, and it's really handy. And there's other things like that too that you can do.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does it help you with your grammar? Does it?
It will help you with your grammar if you have set up your snippet correctly to begin with, so that it has proper grammar. So this is not like Grammarly, where on the fly it's looking to see what you typed and then to tell you if you did it wrong.
Okay.
What it does is it takes what you've already put into text expander and then expands that out for you. So so what you could do, like if you knew that you had something you were going to type a lot and you wanted to make sure the grammar was correct, you could set it all up, you know, do all your typing in Grammarly and then copy and paste it over into text expander, and now you know you've got it right.
Okay.
Jeff, once a snippet is expanded, can you go back in and change something in the expansion?
Of course. So here, let's actually do that. So if we take that snippet that we created, let's fill some stuff in, Nancy, and our product was boss. I hope you're okay with that product, Nancy, because
Sure.
you're the boss. Okay.
I like that. I'm gonna have to look that up.
So let's say we've typed this out, and I realize that I misspelled Nancy's name. I can just come in and fix it because it's just text now. It's not like this is something that's been etched into stone. And if I find out that the product is not actually iBoss, but it's the boss, whatever, and then maybe I decide, oh well, I don't really want it to be Thursday. Let's make that Wednesday. That's fine. And then maybe I actually don't want this person calling me, so I'll just delete that phone number out. And actually, let's do another thing with this, where we know this is everything that we're going to have in here, but I know that I'm going to want to type something else, probably, where this is where it's going to go, where I just put the cursor right here in that snippet. So I just want my cursor to end up right there so I can just start typing. So I'm going to go to the cursor menu and choose position cursor here.
Huh.
And now when we expand that snippet, type in Nancy's name, we decided the product was the boss. There we go. It put the cursor where I wanted it, so I can start typing. I think you'll really like it a lot. Also, there's some Coke on its way to you.
Oh, you know me so well.
So there's a lot you can do with this. One thing that I did with some of the snippets where I have a lot of content that I need to type in, and I can't actually show you that snippet. Oh wait, actually, I have one that I can show you. I think I just don't remember what it's called. Nope, I can't find it. Anyhow, what I did was I went in and let's see. Whoops. Under the cursor. Nowhere. Actually, which one is it? That's funny. I use it, but not often enough. That. Oh, there it is. Show at top. So under the fill-ins, show at top. Add that in. Did I actually add it in? Fill-ins. Yep, it's selected. Okay, so let's say I had tons of stuff that I needed to do in this, like maybe it is like an interrogatory. Now I get a form where every single field that I need to fill in is grouped together for me.
Oh.
And I don't have to go looking through the whole document or the whole snippet to find everything. So now, and this is another place where having fields that have descriptive names are really helpful. So I'll say Nancy, the boss, and everything else looks okay. There we go.
So
question?
Where was
yes.
that?
That's under the fill-ins menu.
Okay.
So what I do is choose fill-ins, show at top.
Okay.
And if there's a check there, that means I've selected that. When I click on it again, it took that check mark away. Click on it, show at top. So that's handy when you have a lot of fields that are going to be scattered throughout a larger snippet. And another thing you can do is take a URL, or actually, you can put anything on your clipboard. And you can use the contents of the clipboard in a snippet as well. So hold on, I have another snippet that I have used. Hold on, I have to think of the abbreviation for it. Do I have a note that has it? Oh, I do. Here we go, check this out. So let's say that I want to send an email to Joe and CC it to Mary and CapMac meeting follow-up. Hi, Joe. And let's set up a meeting for next week. And let's include a graphic signature in it. So here we go. We just hopped between a bunch of fields, filled in the information along the way, and I built a URL with a tracking code on it, where the tracking code was dynamically generated in this in the snippet using date math. And what you missed was the cursor was actually sitting right here, so I could just type whatever else I wanted to add some more information to that message. So
cool.
Anyhow, there's a lot that you can do with this.
Question?
Yes.
Do you have any tips on remembering your abbreviations?
Yes. I do. First, start by making abbreviations where they make sense to you. And so like and like I said, I'll put punctuation at the beginning so I can just use normal words, but then also include labels that describe what the snippet is for. And so we'll call this one conference product follow-up. All right, so when I've done that, I've actually made it easier for me to find the snippets, because trying to remember every snippet that you've created and every abbreviation you've made is awful. Especially when you've made, like hundreds and hundreds of snippets. So by creating abbreviations that are descriptive, but not too long, and then using labels, now you can use inline search. So the keyboard shortcut for inline search on the Mac is Command/. And now you see I have this pop-up thing right here. So I can search for conference, and I'm going to get this menu that highlights every place that I have the word conference in a snippet. So that can be in the snippet content itself, the part that's going to expand. It can be part of the abbreviation, or if it's in the label and describes what the snippet is for, now I have a way to very easily find just the snippets I'm looking for. So I know some people use keywords as well. Like they know that they have certain snippets that they use just for correspondence, or just for articles, or just for social media replies. And so they'll use keywords like email, social, Twitter, things like that, so that they can start searching for just the thing that they want. So in this case, I know that it was a conference related snippet. And when I type conference, my first option in the list is conference product follow-up, which is exactly what I was looking for. And since I had a descriptive label, it made it very easy for me to see that's what I wanted. And then I also can see what the abbreviation was. And for the first 9 snippets that show up in the list, it will dynamically create a keyboard shortcut. So you don't even have to click on the, take your hands off the keyboard and click on anything. You can just choose the keyboard shortcut and expand that snippet. You can also roll over and get this little pop-up that shows the contents of the snippet itself. So my advice is get descriptive with your labels and use inline search. And then it doesn't even matter how you've grouped all of your snippets, because you have an easy way to find exactly what you're looking for. Does that help?
I have another suggestion.
Okay.
If I'm making snippets for something that's connected, like I've got a list of 12 businesses and I have to reference them all the time. When I made the snippets for those, I put the number 5 in front of each one. And that's the only bunch of snippets that I have that start off with a letter at the number 5. And so they're always going to be together in my list, and it makes it easier to find them.
Yes. I know other people that they'll use descriptive elements in the same way as opposed to numbers. Like there are companies where all of their snippets that their support team uses, they all start with SUP. And the sales team, all of theirs start with SAL for sales.
Yeah.
And that way they can do a search for that part of the snippet that they abbreviation that they know is constant, and then get the list of what they're looking for. All right, so we are up over an hour already. I can keep going forever, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time and wrap up when you guys think it's appropriate. So, do we have other questions?
This is a little off topic, but what kind of microphone are you using? It really sounds great.
Why, thank you. I'm using the Rode Podcaster.
Rode? Is that RHODES or?
RODE.
RODE, okay, oh, that's great.
And what I like about the Rode Podcaster is that, well, first, it's an awesome mic, and I think it does a really good job with voice reproduction for my voice. Microphones are kind of like shoes, where when you find the one that's really comfortable for you, you know.
Yeah.
But I also like that this one is USB, so I don't need to have XLR cables, breakout box, phantom power.
Yeah.
And there's some people that will say, "Well, that means it's not really a professional mic," and those people, they just need to get over it and accept that you can have a professional mic that just plugs right into your computer.
Yeah. No, it really sounds good. I mean, it straight away, I thought, well, that's really great. So many, because of all the Zoom stuff and, you know, today's life, you hear so many crappy microphones. It's just astonishing. You know, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hadn't looked at myself to notice that the sun has been setting. So sorry about the light getting darker. Hey, Siri, turn on the office light.
I'm having some trouble with your account.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, everyone. There we go. Well, at least my office light came on. Sorry about all the lights that I turned on for everyone else.
That was funny.
Are there any other questions from the audience for Jeff?
Yes. Is there any way to use this with a web browser if you're on a forum?
Yes, absolutely. So let's pretend like this email is a web form, just because it's easy. See, this is why I used an email message as my my app that I'm expanding in, because when questions like that come up, I already have everything I need. Okay, so we have a form here, and it has a to field, a CC field, and a subject field, and a message body, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's make a new snippet. And we know that there's something that's going to go into that first field. So in your case, is this something where you're going to, it's either going to always be a constant thing, or something where you may have to choose from a couple options, or something where each time you might have to type something different?
Pretty much different every time.
Okay, so then we'll use a fill-in, single line fill-in. And since this is on the email, I'll just call it to, so I know it's going into the to field. All right, so now I've got content for the first field, right? Now I'll go to my keyboard menu and I'll choose tab. And now I've tabbed to the next field. So just to mix it up, we'll say in this one, I'm always going to choose between three things. And it'll be nothing, so I'll leave that right there. And we'll say Jeff at email.com. And then we have another one where it's Nancy at email.com. Okay. So now I have content for the to field, the CC field. Now I need to tab. So keyboard, menu, tab to the subject field. And we'll say that this one is a piece of information that's always the same. So say always the same. And now I will tab, so keyboard menu and tab to the message body. And let's see, form. Okay, so now when I put my cursor in the first field in the form and then type my abbreviation. Here's that first field where we know it's always something different. Something different each time. And then we'll say, share, there's Nancy. And now it got me right down to the message body. Now, let's say that what you actually needed was the form to just end after that and send itself with a return. So what you would do there, keyboard, return. And since that return is the part where it completes the form and sends it off, you now have that in there and you don't even have to type the return. So now our new form we've made, or that we're filling out, different. And okay, so since this wasn't an actual web form, what happened was when it got to the end where it said time to send, it just did a return for me and put the cursor right there. But there you go. That's how you would set up a web form. As long as you know all the fields that that you need to get through, then it's not a problem. Does that help?
Well, sort of. I don't know how to explain it any better tonight for what I'm really trying to do, but it does tell me something about how to use the program. Thank you for that.
Hey, sure thing. All right, do we have any other questions?
Well, it looks like you've overwhelmed us with information tonight, Jeff.
Well, I'm glad I was able to share. And I'm hoping that for those of you that are already text expander users, that I showed you something new so you can get more out of text expander. And for those of you that are not text expander users, you have seen some things that you might find useful.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
So can you make the font do a whatever you call those things? Can you do it to change the font?
Sure. Let's go to that email or that snippet we already made. So since we have all of this formatting, or all of these formatting options right here, we could do something like PDF pen is the italic coolest and bold best PDF viewing app. Let's change that to italic and get rid of the bold. And let's say that we actually want that PDF pen description to be in a different typeface. So let's say like maybe we actually want this to be, I don't know, we'll just pick something. There we go. And we want it to be a larger type, bump it up to 14. There we go. So now when we expand the snippet, if we include PDF pen, let me just turn off text expander so it's not actually showing that. Click OK. There you go. There's the formatting and typeface that we applied.
Okay. Cool.
And I would hope that you would choose something more tasteful than I did for what you do for formatting with your type.
I always use Arial black.
Okay, not a problem. Arial black is one of the options that you have. Okay, any other questions?
I think that might be it.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Well, sure. Thank you for inviting me to speak. Like I said, CapMac is the best Mac user group around, and so it's always great to get to hang out with all of you, even if it is remotely, because you're the best.
You can always come to Austin, you know.
I can, and someday I'll be able to again, I'm sure.
We had a very rainy day today.
Not here.
Up to 4 inches in some places.
Wow.
Jeff, where are you located?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
Oh, cool. I know where that is.
Yeah, it's a great place. And while we haven't been getting 4 inches of rain, we do have a group of 3 mountain lions that has started roaming around town.
Oh, wonderful.
In the streets?
Yes, like they'll roam down the streets, they go through the alleys, they climb up in trees and watch in people's backyards for their cats and small dogs, because apparently I live in a cafeteria for mountain lions. And
like audio, high-end audio. Yeah, do you like high-end audio?
I do.
Are you aware that there's a company there called PS Audio that lets you come in and listen to great stuff?
Yes.
You should do that. They're really nice.
I should do that. And I've driven past their place many times. And yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And someday I'll be able to go in. That they're in the business group that's still classified as not essential enough to be open.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Your bank account will probably appreciate that.
Yes, that is true. Yes.
Well, and I don't know if y'all know it, but Smile is actually based in
okay, hold on.
Good grief. Washington State, Seattle. And so Jeff gets
Hold on.
home, right?
Sorry, Nancy.
Well, it has migrated down to San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Yes, because Philip and Greg both live in the Bay Area. So they're the company founders.
Yeah.
That's still classified as not essential enough to be open.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Your bank account will probably appreciate that.
Yes, that is true. Yes.
Well, and I don't know if y'all know it, but Smile is actually based in
okay, hold on.
Good grief. Washington State, Seattle. And so Jeff gets
Hold on.
home, right?
Sorry, Nancy.
Well, it has migrated down to San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Yes, because Philip and Greg both live in the Bay Area. So they're the company founders.
Yeah. But you still get to work from home.
Yes, actually, the whole company gets to work remotely, and always has. So, while you can go and visit our office, you'd have to make an appointment, and it's in San Francisco. So, wow, thanks again, because it's a lot of fun to hang out with all of you, and you guys had some awesome questions.
Yeah, really neat stuff.
Thanks again, Jeff.
And thank you. I think I should go have some Austin water. I'm pretty sure I have some in the fridge.
We'll enjoy that.
Enjoy your Austin water.
Awesome. Okay, and I'll keep a lookout for emails from people that have won T-shirts and text expander subscriptions.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sure, and thank you.
Thanks.
Heard of that. Well, folks, we're approaching 2 hours. Unless there's anything someone wants to add, I think we ought to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Any last minute comments, questions, or input of any kind?
How are you going to do the door prizes?
I'm going to, I've got a list. Tom's got the list of everybody that was there, and I've got a phone app that will draw numbers indiscriminately, and then I will let people know who won.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good.
Good to see everybody. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Let me know what email addresses you need, Nancy.
I'm sorry, what?
Let me know what email addresses
Oh,
you
I will. Thanks.
All right. Okay, folks, I guess we can say good night, and we'll see you in June. Probably.